Combining all of those skills together, the art and the science, the thinking and the doing, was what resulted in the exceptional result.
What's going on, guys? So what I want to do is I want to review just the first few minutes. I'm gonna replay today's market pretty quickly, give you guys an idea of what it looked like off the open, and a couple short opportunities that I took, and then a long that I took on a shift of momentum. So let's get this going real quick. You guys can see that we opened up right away. Instantly, there's no real push up to continue. We had gapped up about 10 points at this point. As you can see, there's no previous structure here, so we gapped up out of yesterday's range, and instantly, as you guys can see here by the delta, we have aggressive sellers coming in. So right now we know that, okay, so we're in a gap up where we opened and sellers are active off the open. So at this point, we're not trying to go long here. We want to see, okay, what is the reaction by buyers, if there is one at all, at this point in time. So remember, the market's being sped up here. So we're actually already 6-7 minutes into the market, and we're continually getting sell. As you can see here, see, we're just getting pushed here by the sellers. So at this point, I mean, we're just constantly getting sold here. This is a stop run right here. You can see a bunch of market orders went off with no counter print. And right here, you're starting to see buyers trying to lift going into yesterday's highs. So these are people who bought the breakout or trying to defend. So we want to see, okay, do we get a push up here? How effective is this push so far? It looks like there's some good volume going in. And what do we do? Do we follow through? Can we get past all this accumulation of volume here before we had that push down? And as of right now, so right here, we froze this. So again, let's recap. We opened. Initially, we got selling pressure, continued down, pushed some people out of the market. Right here, we got buyers who are trying to defend before yesterday's high, and they're trying to lift up this market. All they could do is push it right back up to 98s. Remember, the open right here is 99 3/4. And now, if we do not get a counter rotation up here and start testing these 98s, this is weakness. Everybody who tried to buy this bottom is probably going to get puked out. Let's see how this goes. By the way, this is a setup for me. So the minute we pushed into here, it's a little slow here, but the minute we pushed in here and we got this counter rotation, we failed to push up at all. I'm hitting this short, and what I'm looking for is to take out the low of day so far and see if we get any continuation back into yesterday's high and potentially into yesterday's range. So as right now, you see these buyers are trying to defend it. They're trying to defend it. Nothing. Shorts are still dominant. So we're pushing into this new low. Sellers are still being persistent. Buyers are trying to defend as much as they can, but what are they really doing? Are we getting any really expansion to the upside? No. So we're still staying on the short side here. And we want to see is what happens once we break into yesterday's range. If we could breach yesterday's high, right, we just hit it. Buyers are trying to react off that again. But if we push through it, do we get a massive flush? Do we start getting some stop runs into yesterday's high? Do we tackle the gap close at 89.5? Or do we get some buying into yesterday's range? So as of right now, shorts are looking good. Any pressure outside of yesterday's high, we're going to cover the short. So there it goes. There's a short being covered for the time being. Point, we know buyers are active, right? So we want to see when we push back into this 95, 96 area right here where all this volume is. I didn't get it. I was looking for potentially a reload. We get this flush back down. Now I'm trying to see, do we really continue lower, or do we move back up quickly, right back up? So far, sellers are still dominant. So you start seeing here, right? All this clusters of blue. This is volume accumulation. This is how I have my algorithm set up. So we can see here that we've made a new low, right? We went from 91 3/4 to 91.5. So we one ticked it by one tick, right? The low of day. But you start seeing all this volume accumulating right here. Look at all this volume being accumulated, this HVN that's starting to develop. And notice that we're getting aggressive buying down here. So we're not seeing sellers really smashing into this bid. What we're doing is we're seeing buyers lift. So as prices coming down, we're lift. And we know that through the delta, right? Easy way to read on this system. So at this point, you're saying, okay, if we're holding these 91s, these 90s, 91s, and we start trading above 92s, maybe we can hit it long here, which I did. I went long into 92 and a quarter, and I'm looking for a release in pressure. So all these people are trying to sell, all these people are trying to buy, somebody's got to win. And at this point, we've had some good amount of selling, but we're not really getting the flush into the range. You're getting a lot of people trying to defend the high of yesterday. So let's see how this plays out here. And again, this is being sped up. So, you know, this was a lot more choppy than it looks like right now. But you can see here, going back and forth, right? Sellers trying. Buyers gonna lift it right back up. Sellers push it back down. Buyers lift it right back up. Sellers pushing back down. So we're not really getting the flush. Okay, so then once we start getting above this volume area right here, that's when you start seeing, okay, there potentially could be some pressure released here. And what we do is we're just trading back to mid, and mid is the 50% retrace. So right here, see how they tried to push up, but sellers ultimately dominated. But did we get a continuation? Nope, we held this volume area. And here we go, and we start getting more buying. Then once we get out of yesterday's high, you start seeing more buying coming in. Those are the people who are the breakout buyers, and this is where we start covered right into 95s, 96. Why do we cover into 95s? Well, we've had a lot of volume here, a lot of battling right here. We have an HVN. This is called a high volume node, right? This is going to be a lot of chop, a lot of turbulence, and long from 92 and a quarter into 95s. That's a 3-point play. I'll take that every day. That's for one trade, and we're just trying to accumulate points throughout the day. So those are just a quick little shift that I wanted to show you. Off the bat, what side did we want to stay on? Well, we wanted to notice when we opened up, we didn't get a two-way auction. We didn't get sellers, we didn't get buyers. We just got sell. So on the first push up, if it's nothing that's really that strong and we instantly fall back down, then we're going to take the side of the dominant flow, which is the sell side. You could tell by the accumulative delta continuing to stay negative. We're going to take the short, and we want to see is what happens once we get into yesterday's range. If we get into yesterday's range, but we do not get aggressive selling into, we don't get buyers starting to bail out, but we get more of this grind and accumulation, then we have to assess through the order flow, okay, is this really going to flush down? And as you can see here, we popped up, came back down, but then starts struggling, builds more volume. That means these are people who are buying. They feel that this is value down here. The prices are cheap, and you can see here all this accumulation, and then we got this burst up. So again, the first two trades that we took within the first hour, because now it's 10:32 Eastern Time, we took a short into 97s. We scaled out low of day. We scaled out yesterday's high. And then we're looking to see if we can get this flush. We don't. We cover. We reassess what's going on. It pushes back down. It's fine. And then we start accumulating here. Okay, we see that we're still struggling. Try to take a long. We took the long at 92 and a quarter. We want to trade into the next cluster of volume, which is the 95s, 96s. So we get off in the 95s, and those are the first two trades of the day. I did take some more trades later on, but I don't want to make this video too long. So just understand, when we first open up in the morning, decide who's the dominant hand, which direction are we moving in easier, and try to pick a spot that has a good risk reward. And we obviously knew that if we got short into the 97s, any push back into open, now we're just going to bail out of the trade because we found our buyers. But if we don't, and we continue to migrate lower until we find those buyers. All right, hope that makes sense. I haven't done a video in quite some time, been super busy with a couple other businesses, but this is just a quick little recap on some order flow lessons.
Combining all of those skills together, the art and the science, the thinking and the doing, was what resulted in the exceptional result.